Due to life, I've decided to not prioritize early morning uploads because it's more valuable for me to sleep than it is to upload these sessions at a set time or as early as possible every single day. But today is time for push-ups. We're doing 5 repetitions now, 10 rounds on the minute. So let's go. So I actually held my breath there. Not something I recommend, but for fairly quick, repeated motions, it can be useful, especially if it's not going to be for a long duration and if the effort is not too strenuous, especially for midline stabilization. That's core or intra-abdominal pressure. Still using the hand release setup to find a good position for my hands. Big inhale, push. I don't think I have anything super important to say on push-up form. As usual, a most important thing, maybe not most important, but I think I will say that I consider it more important than the pushing mechanics is the core tension. It should be a perfect plank through the entirety of the motion, from bottom to top. And what I usually prioritize is the posterior pelvic tilt. So posterior pelvic tilt. Let's look at the hollow body position just for a short while. And we can look at the lumbar curve. Should be some space underneath here. What I really want to do is to remove that space by bringing the front of my pelvis up. So regardless of the legs, tuck that straight underneath. And I can also lift the upper back. This is the full abdominal engagement. It's easier with the knees tucked. And it will be actually really hard. So I engage first. Now I can move either arms overhead, or I can go one leg, or two, or all three. That's a great way to build awareness of the hollow body position. I would consider the lower abdominal engagement more important. And we can always do the standing tilt. Looks goofy, but is important. Feels pretty good. Still smooth, linear progression. Adding 1 repetition each session. And should start becoming a bit more demanding. very soon. So we are on we barely started week 3. We've already had a 500% increase of volume, which is insane. However, general recommendations on volume increases don't really matter because we are starting from absolute zero, or from doing 1 repetition. If we already had a pre-established top and intensity and working in our, let's say, sweet spot range between 80 and 90% effort, doing such increases would be quite detrimental. So what that means is that we're essentially just looking for hitting a wall. But instead of just rushing into the wall, trying to find that level as quick as possible, we're starting from zero, we're building up so that we actually create some adaptation all the way up there, establishing really good mechanics. That means technique, and also having a sort of natural preparatory phase where not just the neurological, which is the technique, adapts, but also our tissues get more used to the stress and the demands. I think it's been a long time since I've been this weak in horizontal pushing. I can feel that going really quick in my push-ups is not available to me. So that's what I'm focusing on. Of course, always inside the wiggle room that proper technique allows me. If I would allow myself to shift my body line, I could work around the weaknesses, but that would give me nothing. I'm not here to improve or to avoid weaknesses. I'm here to eliminate them. Another quite subtle thing that I do is try to focus on fingers forward. I'm using the middle finger, but with that also pushing down through my knuckles, gripping the floor. I love Baki. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on Netflix. There's this guy, this opponent that he faces, which apparently has the ability to create a vacuum inside his hand. Basically, you could just put his hand on a ceiling and hang. That's not possible, I think. Pretty sure. But using that as a cue will create so much more engagement up through the arm. And just focusing here on the top position, making sure that I've actually protracted. That means my shoulder blades are not stuck together. I'm focusing on only extending my arms, but actually allowing my shoulder blades to slide wide over my back and my chest to kind of suck itself in So if I had a target above my back, trying to get as high as possible, that's the cue that I would go for. You can kind of see the difference between a more casual and fully protracted position. That's just for scapular health, but also for strength, serratus anterior, the shark teeth or whatever they're called. And yeah, that's strength that will be usable in more advanced pushing exercises, primarily the planche. And I can't do a planche right now, but something like this. So I can't straighten my arms more than straight, but if I can protract my shoulder blades, that lifts the entire body. That's all that I've got for today. Thank you. Bye bye.